In this video, we are going to look into the match command. The match command can be found in Tools and Match. You can use it directly with the shortcut Alt-V. This function allows you simply to match attributes from one element with others. So you will be able to select one or several elements at once, taking information from one other elements, and you will be able to grab more than one attribute or information at once. There is two ways of using it. The first is by activating the element you wish to edit. For example, just to see detail within this post, I would also like to set a transparency that will be set exactly like this one. Or I might want to import stuff like the material that is being used, or the process type, or any other attributes that I've set, all the way to like rounding values if I had set those. The way it works is you might want to select either the element that should transfer this information or the ones that should receive that information. Note that if you have more than one element selected, you will only be able to receive information from an element that you will then have to select, because only one element can transfer information. So let's say that we wish to transfer information from this post to that post. We'll simply select this one and use Alt-V. This window here will pop up, and the first thing that you want to check is the match option. Match option is basically whether the element selected receive or send its information. If the one that is currently selected is to send its information, there will be display next to each of the attributes. For example, here we can clearly say that this one is a post. It is drawn using the white and made out of glue lamp, and currently doesn't have any set transparency. You can change here to change attribute of active element, and in that case you are no longer able to see the value that is going to be used, of course. So here we would like to make sure to change the texture and, let's say, the story. Why not? Please note that among these attributes you have most of the classic Cadwork attributes, but you will also find element module properties for those of you working with the element module, so you can easily transfer from one element to another a complete set of properties. Same goes for the advanced varial thickness properties, also from the element module. Then attribute display, so this is about shop drawing export and things like this that can be set within the attribute display, and in that case is the attribute display from the element itself that you can usually find in the modify option and attribute display, for each element to have their own setting. So like this, you make sure that by also assigning this, you make sure that this element will always display the same information as the other one we are going to select next. The other information you have access to, among others, are like end types, cutting properties, calculation set for the machine, and of course all the set user attributes. So here currently I cannot press OK or apply simply because I need to select the reference element as currently shown here at the bottom of the window. If this window is hiding too much of your screen, simply untick the box Keep Window Open. If you need to do any modification to your selection of attributes, simply bring your cursor back on the top menu here. So here I need to select this guy. And here you see now, if we come back, it shows which information is going to be sent. And I just realized that I've made a mistake. I did not meant on clicking on texture, but it was indeed transparency that is here currently set to 70%. When this is done, simply press OK. And now the transfer has been done. So here, of course, all the information have been transferred. This, for example, can also be useful. Let's say in this example here we have a a wall, and inside I've just added manually a MEP. So that calculation came from the element module. So basically all the elements already have the same group, meaning that I can easily now export this in my workshop drawings. But for my MEP to be displayed, it will also need to share the same group, which here currently, as you can see by its color, it is not the case. This one is not selected. So instead of having to know exactly which group this one is to then modify the element, you can simply select this element you need to change the attributes from, or simply one element from the wall with the right set of attributes. And this one, for example, this is a beam. And this one also has interesting information in the output setting. It's already set for my wall export, like it will be displayed in the frame and also shown exporting like additional layers. So if we do here Alt V, I can go minus all and select, for example, group and element module properties. One thing here is you see that based on what you do, you will always like get rid of and assign new groups. If you wish to always use the same ones, or that you've set a sort of standard that you use from time to time or in your basic workflow, what you might want to do is here at the bottom, show sets. Show sets allows you to save whatever you have currently set here. So if you simply do your setting, add set, and that would be, for example, like wall export. So we know that it transfers the information that are important for us to be able to go and export our wall correctly. Load and save here doesn't have anything to do with the set in this 3D file, but it actually allows you to save this set as XML file for you to be able to load in any other projects. So here I will select the target element, which is my MEP, right click to confirm, and if we select it now, it is indeed in the right group and has the right output setting. So this match attribute can be really useful in a lot of different ways. It basically avoids having to assign your attributes manually one by one for each element. This function is also available through F keys. So if you go to help and F1, F12 function, if you were to look here for match, you will have 4 different options available. So you have the match, which basically here will call exactly the match function I showed you with Alt V. Then we have get attribute from active element without dialog and modify active element attributes with no dialog. This means that it's going to use the last set match setting in the window. So if you are always using the same ones, or if you are starting a specific sequence where you know you are going to use this on several elements one after another, you will first start by actually create your set for the matching attributes, and then you will be able to use these functions to directly use that match without having to see that window pop up every single time. And then attribute to active element, Shift F1, basically opens exactly the match, except you don't have the possibility here to get attribute from active element. So this is exactly the same as going like Alt V and changing this. But it still saves a click if you know exactly that this is what you need to do. Quick thing here while we're here and looking at F keys, just a reminder that these blue functions that you see here are only available if assigned to F keys. Those are not available anywhere in the menus. So quick tip here, if you would like to see the function that might actually be useful to you, simply here go to PDF available function overview, and this will generate a PDF at the location of your 3D file, showing you all the different functions you have available in the F-keys. There is a function that allows you to use the match command during that function, and it can actually be pretty powerful. The thing is, this function is the copy reference. Copy reference, for you who are not familiar with it, it's a copy that allows you to copy an element from one reference to one or several targets. This can be really useful, for example, like in this example with connections and things like this, mostly because that copy reference is using the system access of your reference element and the one of your target to reorient the copy. So here, for example, if I had, of course, my post at a different elevation, at a different angle, my copy will always be placed correctly as it is placed on that element. Here we are going to simply duplicate this, so 6Z and 30 feet as an example, and just make sure that those buildings will have different group. Let's use here the phase, for example. So this would be my attribute 22, so this would be phase 2. That will then be phase 3, so 1 to modify other attribute, control 2, 22, and here new attribute number 3, which will make this phase 1. So 1, control 2, phase 1. So here currently, the element that I wish to copy belong to phase 1, as is the reference. So here, if we select this element and wish to copy it on all these 6 posts that belongs to different phase, when copy with 6 and H for reference, selecting the reference, right-clicking to confirm, and here you will see that the match can be activated or not using Alt-V. So when you see such a function like this that turns orange at the bottom, it means that currently it is activated. So here, simply going to select this, and then selecting my other post. Right-click to confirm, and here I could set one or several attributes exactly the same way as what we've done earlier, except here the thing is my attributes are actually different according to my target element. This is why here you don't have any choices, because we will actually adapt the attributes to the target element. You can here also show and display your set. And so here you will see that all of my elements no longer belong to the same phase. So here, Control A, 22. Those are all placed in phase 3, phase 2 and phase 1. So this can be really useful to make sure that you keep your copy and the target always using the same attributes that are actually important for you. There is one other area where you can use the match, and this is in the nesting module. In this example we have element that belongs to different story, so story 1 and story 2, and they also actually belong to different group. So here, as you can see, this is Control A, oh, where this one belongs to. Okay, so let's go actually and, for example, just going to fix this file quickly, Alt-V. I want to change its group and take the group from that guy. So now we do have actually all the same group. So what I wanted to show you here is actually within the nesting manager. So here those elements have already been nested. So here if I select this one, we have Control A by group. All the elements of the same group have been optimized within the same panel, except for these two. And here we have the other group. So here if we select the nesting element, at the bottom shows up the Alt V command. And here you will be able to tell which element you wish to grab from the content. The thing here that is really important, and this is what would happen here at the bottom, since the element within don't belong to the same group and the same story, this nesting volume won't be able to take any of those attributes. Nesting element can only inherit from attributes if they are identical throughout their content. Following attribute of nesting are different, story and group, okay? So it means that this guy could not get updated, but this one, of course, did. So here we see that it has the right story and the right group. So here, for example, in case like this, it will be useful for you to group your production and make sure that your nesting volume, when exported in list and things like this, carry out the information from the panel inside. So this is it for the alt. I hope it's going to help you in your project.